And we're live. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Always Almost There, day after show live. Luckily, my voice sounds better today than it did yesterday. So thankfully, we didn't have a pod yesterday. One of our former sponsors, Beekeepers Naturals, really getting me through here. So shout out to the propolis spray. Neil, Isaac, how are you guys doing today?
Great.
Isaac, you, yes?
Sorry, y'all cut out for a minute
today?
there.
Oh, how you doing?
I'm
today?
doing great.
Awesome.
Good day. Louisville's awesome city.
Yeah.
Doing great.
We had a great show last night that we're going to dive into. But of course, right before we do that, a word from our sponsor. Really excited to be partnering with Hannah and Kate, the Cacao Girls, for this fall tour. And they're back on tour. They're in Louisville. Didn't see them last night, but they're back with the band, which is exciting. If you ever wanted to elevate your concert experience beyond your usual pre-show routine, Hannah and Kate have created something amazing called the Conscious Pregame. Whether you're at the show or on the couch, they guide you through cacao ceremonies and meditative rituals to ground your energy, open your heart, and connect more deeply with the music, the moment, and the community. Visit www.hannahandkate.com and use code AATPOD for 15% off any purchase over $25, which includes in-person tickets to the Conscious Pregame in Richmond next week. Woo!
All right.
So, great show last night. This venue is absolutely insane.
Yes.
Isaac, you and your dad were up at the front, right?
Yeah, we were in the second row, kind of like directly in front of Peter, and it's
Nice.
such a beautiful venue. This theater is awesome.
Mm-hmm. This place is cool also because there's no GA at all. Everything is seated.
I like that.
Friend of the pod, Woody, on the rail in front of Rick last night. He had a great show.
You cannot miss him.
No, you cannot miss him. He was
literally cannot miss him.
He was wearing one of his signature, really awesome Woody shirts last night. What'd you say?
In Sinkleback.
Yeah. Oh yes, yeah. It was in Sinkleback. That's what it was. That guy always has the greatest shirts. He has one. We were just talking about it earlier with him. My favorite of his shirts is the one that he has that says Krungbin and a picture of three people from Pulp Fiction.
Amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, we got to talk about this Goose show. So this venue, the Louisville Palace, very, very beautiful, very similar to the Fox Theater in Atlanta. If anyone has been there, pretty kind of similar vibe to the ceiling and the way it's all seated and just very ornate and beautiful. It's a little bit smaller. Capacity is just under 3,000. These are also the only indoor shows of this tour. Interesting to note.
Aha. Hadn't thought about that. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It is a big deal. So throwing down small venue. We kick things off. Let's dive right in. My mind has been consumed by media, opening up another show. It's All I Need and Inside Out. Media is a great opener still. I think this is the third time it's opened a show this year, really settling in, but second time in the last week and a half. So interesting stat there. But this All I Need Inside Out is a fantastic piece of first set improv. There's some really, really incredible work from Trevor in this All I Need. And I love it. The way that they kind of settle into this groove and build the peak in this jam is really fantastic. And the segue into Inside Out, phenomenal. And then you get another 15 minutes of Inside Out. So this is very, very high quality 30-minute segment in the first set. Isaac, what were your thoughts here?
Yeah. This is awesome for a first set to hear this, because the past couple of first sets have not been that great. So I think
it's true.
Subjectively. So I think to hear this, it brings you back to February a little, where we're doing different stuff with the set list. This All I Need jam is great. I like how you mentioned Trevor. He really shined, had some great melodic bass there. And then Cotter too. He had a great groove with the tom and the cymbal, and that kind of helped drive the jam with Rick and him doing that. And it was a great finish to that. And then a beautiful segue into Inside Out. It's not your normal 3-pack openers, and it's awesome. It's great. Peter on the Rhodes for Inside Out is awesome to hear that new.
Oh man. Yeah, that Rhodes tone is beautiful. Neil, what are your thoughts here?
I'm a big fan of Swimmer. We've transitioned from being Goose to Swimmer now. We just open all shows as Swimmer and then just move on from there. So we don't open every show with Hot Love and the Lazy Poet anymore. It's just every show opens with the Swimmer song. So new thing, and I'm down with it, 100%. Let Cotter get on the vocals.
Yeah,
super fun way to start the show.
I really did think last night was going to be the Hot Love opener night, though.
Yeah,
it's actually been a minute.
It's been a minute since the Hot Love opener. I'm sure they're aware of the joke, and I'm sure, I'm certain that they are thinking a lot about, mixing up the set list, as Isaac said. And Hot Love is the biggest culprit of formulaic set listing they've got right now. The All I Need second slot actually is kind of there too. But in any case, this All I Need is fantastic. And what I like about this jam, as you two have already said, is that Trevor really shines in this. And the bellwether of excellent Goose is, of course, how high Trevor is in the mix and how well he's playing. If those two things are happening, you've got very, very good Goose on your hands. I mean, this is what we talked about all in winter of 2022. Like, this is all happening. And the big thing we were always talking about was Trevor. And his playing in this is remarkable. As you've already said, it's, this melodic Phil Lesh style playing, not your typical bass player kind of sound. And I love the way the rest of the band kind of hangs back and lets him do his thing. Rick, especially, for a large section of this jam, is just chilling and letting Trevor do Trevor things. And Trevor, of course, is in a very Phil Lesh way all over the neck of the instrument, playing low notes, playing very high notes. Sounded sick. So really cool stuff. And then, of course, my favorite song, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention how much I love Spoon and Inside Out. And so they played this one. And now the bit is becoming its own thing because Inside Out is becoming one of my big chases. It's one of my, I think it's number 3 on my most common not seen. So I am once again a Spoon fan, and this jam is really nice. And the interesting thing, I think, about this set as a whole, and I guess this whole show, is there's no extended improv, but there is a massive amount of improv in this show. So
what do you mean there's no extended improv?
There's no 20-minute plus jam in this
Sure.
show. But there is tons of jamming in this show, which is actually distinctly un-Goose-like. I think it usually goes in the other direction, right?
Right. I guess you get pockets in a couple of places.
Yeah. And I just think there's a lot of jamming in general in this show, more than normal. I don't know. I don't count minutes of jamming. But if I were to, I would venture to guess this has a lot of minutes of jamming. As many as shows that we see as like big jam shows.
Yeah.
Because somebody I know was poo-pooing on the show because it doesn't have any big jams in it. But it's got a lot of good jams in it. So
I like big jams. What can I say? Just want to quickly answer this question from the chat from Matthew Schmidt. Matthew Schmidt. Why are we not labeling songs as Swimmer, but yet we still do Flopener and Dawn only when it's alone? So confused. Same reason why we don't note Visuto or Great Blue. If it's an original song, it counts on the set list as an original song and doesn't get labeled as a cover. If you do dive into the back, like if you go to the song page on lgoose.net, it is noted as being written by Swimmer, but since Cotter is a member of Goose, it is considered to be an original Goose song for the purposes of setlist notation. So just to clear that up. All right.
To the Flopener. I like how he threw the Flopener question in there and you completely dodged it. You went on to something else.
Neil loves a Flopener, especially when it's called.
Shall we talk about the slow and melodic version of All I Need?
All I Need. Oh, yes.
That made it out there today into memes. It was very exciting stuff. I was into it.
It was good.
It
was good. All right, Isaac. So let's hear from you next. We've got Born, into Fifth of Beethoven, Hot Love, and Dark Horse. Just go Born, Fifth, Hot Love.
Sounds good. The last time they were in Louisville, they did the Born and the Dark Horse. So and the Fifth Beethoven. So I thought it was I was like, when they played Fifth Beethoven, I was like, didn't they do this last time? So I thought it was weird that they did that again, but it was a lot of fun. I think it had a good flow of the set and it got people hyped. I think the crowd really felt like they were like a Goose crowd. Like they knew Goose well and they were having fun, I think. So I think that this was a great flow. And then Hot Love, normally in this spot, I would not like it, but I think we've already got some good jamming going on in the set. So I don't mind it being placed like later in the first set versus as an opener. They're doing new stuff in this set, which I like.
For sure. I agree. I was very surprised to see the presence of both Fifth of Beethoven and Born. I think, yes, repeats were always going to be on the table from the last Louisville run because it was 2 years ago and 2 multi-night runs. But usually, like Salt Shed, for example, they will shy away from the songs that were the huge versions the last time they were in a city. So the 3-night Salt Shed run, you didn't have a Hunger Site, you didn't have a Pancakes, even though both of those songs could have Pancakes especially, I think, was due by that point. But I was very surprised to see Born. This is nowhere near, obviously, the last Louisville Born, because that one is phenomenal. But interesting segue into Fifth. People were very excited about Fifth.
It's a rare cover.
It's bust out.
That is
yeah,
exciting.
108 shows since the last one.
Since the
Kansas
last
City.
one. Yeah, the repeats thing I think is complicated. I don't know if you can break it down as simply as you do. I think this is a tricky situation because they're in a multiple no repeats kind of scenario. They're about to go into Atlanta where they played a 3-night run. Last time they played here, it was like a 2-night run. This is sandwiched between Chicago, which was a 3-night run the time before. So they've really painted themselves into a lot of corners set listing. Yep. And I think they took a look at everything last night. If you look at everything coming up too, there's like North Carolina coming down the line, and like that one, they're up against a whole bunch of things. So if you look at like what they could play, I think they were like, oh geez, we really can't play anything. Screw that. We're just doing repeats. And they just leaned into it. They've done this before. I think back to Montana where they encored with Escape.
Yeah.
2 shows
Montana rows in a row.
Yeah. So I think every once in a while they take a look at everything that's out there. They put the cards on the table and they say, we're just going to lean into it. And that's what happened here. Because if you asked me before the show if they were going to play half of the songs that they played, I would have been like, nope. Definitely Know All I Need, because it felt like it would be right for maybe the next show. But, definitely not Fifth of Beethoven. But folks are stoked. I mean, you go to a cool venue like that, and Goose definitely likes to pull some neat things out of their hat, and you get another Fifth of Beethoven. It's another one I haven't seen.
There we go.
But what else?
Should have come to Louisville, clearly.
I wish I could go out there. I look at the pictures of that venue, and I'm just like, gosh, it's so cool. But they need to not play there on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, for crying out loud. Giant pain. Hot Love is an excellent song. And the only thing I don't like about Hot Love is that it just shows up in the same slot all the time. So they can play this in the encore, which they've done, and it's fantastic. They can play this late first set, and it's fantastic. I mean, we were just talking about this, but the drum break in it is so much fun.
Yeah.
And it makes me absolutely love the whole entire song. So this is all good stuff. Could have done with some more jamming late set one, but
it was good. I think
good.
When you talk about painting yourself into a corner, I think they kind of did that towards the end of this set, like with the placement of the Dustin. But you got this Dark Horse Dustin to end off the set. The set as a whole ends up being around 90 minutes. So lengthy first set. But when you put the Dustin in this slot, similar to Park City Song Summit, they don't have the time to stretch this song out. And recently this has not really been going a ton of places, which is kind of disappointing, given how the first few versions were on Summer Tour. But I mean, I was very excited to hear Dark Horse, and the intro jam before they hit the song proper in this is fantastic. But I was really excited for Dark Horse here. Isaac?
Yeah, I like the placement of this Dark Horse because I feel like sometimes the Dark Horses gets caught up too much in the second set where they shape a set list around it. Think Grand Rapids Night 3 where it's in the middle of the second set and it's not really going anywhere in a jam. So I like that we're getting it in a first set where it plays the song and it does what it should. The intro jam was great to it. And then Hoffman, I agree with that, how they kind of trapped it at the end of these set lists and haven't really given it time to explore how they should have in the as opposed to Las Vegas or Colorado this summer. But it was a fun way to end the set. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Dark Horse, man. Cool. more Dark Horse should be played. And I think I love Cotter's playing in this Dark Horse. He really does a little extra cottering back there. And, it's just interesting getting used to him playing some of those songs that are much more rarely played. And he plays it very, very differently than it had been played by Ben in the past. So that's an interesting point there. And I kind of wish we got more Dark Horse than we did. And I think I would have been really cool with more Dark Horse and not the ultra abbreviated Dustin Hoffman. I put that one in your back pocket. Play it the next show. Just ride the Dark Horse into the set break. Alas, did not happen. But cool. Again, like a nice little treat. Like that's a pretty rare song these days. You see it maybe a few times a year, and that's it. So it's a cool one to get.
100%. Well, let's head into set 2 here. By the way, pretty solid time management from the band last night. It is a soft curfew, which is great. So they were able to go a little past 11:30. But they were on the stage at like 8:11, which is pretty great. So second set kicks off with a Pancakes. Pretty solid stack here. Good way to come out. I feel like, Pancakes has been a little tame this year, if you will. But there's some really, really incredible, like gritty guitar work from Rick. I love the tone that he's using in this jam. And Trevor, again, really just leading the charge here. I will say Trevor was a little quieter in the room last night, but he really stuck out to me on re-listen this morning. Because I could tell he's doing really cool stuff, but he was way louder on the boards. Isaac, your thoughts on Pancakes?
Yeah, I'm glad. I feel like Pancakes hasn't popped up in the second set for a minute. It's kind of just been trapped in the first set and hasn't done a whole lot. But this is a great Pancakes. I like the riffs. He gets like a really repetitive riff going, and then you have Peter on the marimba behind him, which I always love a good Peter marimba jam. And then the band just kind of locks in, and this is a really solid jam where everybody's just kind of playing well.
Yeah, this is an interesting point where I think we should talk about Trevor's bass. A lot of people are talking about Trevor's bass these days. Is it a new bass? It certainly is a unique looking bass. And this has popped up. You dropped a stat today that kind of blew my mind because I know I've seen this bass a lot, and it used to sit behind Trevor a lot. So you would see, if you watch the stage when they're getting everything ready and the guitar techs are out there, and even before there were guitar techs, coach would pick it up here and there. But that bass was always there. Ryan, give me a nod if I'm right on that one. Yeah. But it was played last at Goose Miss 23.
Goose Miss, night 1 at Hampton.
Night 1. Yeah. And so that bass has been around for a really, really long time. I think if you go way, way back, you can see it before everything kind of went down, before the pandemic. So if you're wondering about that bass, it is not new. It is old, and it does sound wonderful. It is a really, really, really nice bass. But real quick, just about Pancakes. I think there are 3 varieties of Pancakes you get these days. You get a brief jam, which can go really just about anywhere. That's one. And then the other is like a real deep exploration into the cosmos. And like, I think of maybe Capitol Theater 2024 Pancakes, real deep. And then there's the Salt Shed Pancakes, which just rips. And this one is that one on the spectrum. It's a ripper, and it's really, really good at that thing. So if you're expecting a Pancakes to, take you to outer space, this is not that. This is the one that kind of rips. Does it rip as well as Salt Shed? No, but it's still very, very good. This is an above average version of Pancakes. Not a bad way to open a set.
There we go. And we get Everything Must Go next. I'd say this is the best version since February.
Definitely.
About time. But Isaac, I'll throw it to you. What are your thoughts on this jam?
Well, yeah, I'm glad that we got Everything Must Go back jamming kind of in that February sense where it did a little bit of dark jamming. This is a great jam. They just get right into it quick, which is something that they've really done well this year. I think, and like the Rick, he builds on a great theme here. Trevor's playing really nice, and the whole band just like drives to this peak to finish. And they're really, this is another one. I feel like the band came out the second set, it was really locked in. Like none of these first 2 jams are incredible, crazy, like big top like bracket stuff, jam of the year, but they're really solid jams. and it was great. It was awesome.
This is my favorite jam of the night. I like it a lot, and I think there is a cinematic quality to this, as there are with all versions of Everything Must Go. This still has the tinge of the Everything Must Go of the summer. It still has that vibe. Still sounds like it. So it's not fully back to the old Everything Must Go, which I've always loved. But I really love the place that this goes. It's a unique jam for Goose. They don't do this kind of thing all that often. It's kind of got the big swells and, as I said, cinematic and dramatic kind of feeling to it. And love the peak that it gets to. And it doesn't just, rush to the peak and peaking out. It really gets there in a, I don't know, just a really cool way. And I'm also excited that the song is jamming again because, dang it, it's a crime that it wasn't a jam vehicle for a while. And, well, to be honest, they need some jam vehicles because they've been playing other songs that typically are jam vehicles for about 5 minutes and then moving on. So, you got to bring something back into the fold here.
Please.
That's what you're getting.
And I'd like to add too, in this room, Everything Must Go was great. Like this jam, it fit the room really well. Like the dramatic, it's crazy theater. There's like statues in like the old opera boxes. So it was just really cool to like look back and just see like focus kind of on the theater and like less on the band for a minute and just see like the whole kind of like venue and just like how it is. And it felt really cool in that room.
There we go. All right. Next up, second half of set 2, White Lights into Bob Don and Sinnerman. White Lights finally joining the last bunch of songs that has come off of long gaps. 45 shows since it was last played in Grand Rapids in February. Beautiful, beautiful segue into Bob Don, also on a long gap, not played since Vegas. Cannot stress enough how beautiful this segue is. And then we get the Sinner Goons to close out the set. Shout out to my new Goons shirt from a friend of the pod, Levi, aka Type 2 Designs. If you're in Louisville, he's selling them outside the venue before and after the show. Get one. Neil, I'm getting you one, by the way.
Oh, great. Thanks, man.
I don't remember if we had talked about that, but I'm getting you one.
Hey, man, and the more Goons you can get your hands on, the better. Okay, so it's party time, right? 4:45.
Right, then they start White Lights, and I'm like, all right.
We know what's happening, and I don't hate it. I'm going to go on record again. I think this is my segment of every pod now. I say this thing where it's just like, okay, this is the part where we dance, and, I love it. And it doesn't have to be anything else. It doesn't have to be some kind of, I don't know, transcendent experience. Sometimes you just go there to dance. It is a dance band. They are. That's what they are. They're an improvisational band, but their fans are there to dance. You go to see 95% of bands, their fans are not there to dance. Their fans are either there to stare and have arms folded or sit in chairs if you go to Tedeschi Trucks band. But in any case, folks are there to dance, and Goose is happy to oblige. So that's what you get here. White Lights, of course, is great. Bob Don Cool Down with very exciting. And then Sinnerman with a proper width, yep. And then Sinnerman with a brief moment of Goons, and then just the typical Sinnerman frenzy that follows, which is great. That's their biggest dance number they got right now, which is weird. That Sinnerman itself is a dance number, because if you really listen to the song, it's not like dance material necessarily, but the jam, of course, is. So love all of that, and that's a heck of a way to close out a show. Close out a set.
Yeah, close out the set. Isaac, your thoughts on the last few songs here?
Yeah, I like what you said about how it doesn't need to be like a big exploration. You're in the dance time of the show. This does what a night one needs to do, where it just kind of gets people started, and it's really good. It's just dance to party. It's setting it up for the next night where we'll probably have some more improv, hopefully. And yeah, this is a great version. The segue is absolutely incredible. This Bob Don. It's a proper Bob Don. It has a great width to it. So it's just a good time. The Bob Don Cool Down it's always a good song to see at a show. So it's great. And then Sinnerman was an incredible cover choice that I think fit really well. And it brought the energy right back up to the room. And the people loved it. The crowd was really into it. And it was awesome.
Killer tune.
There we go. And then encore, we get Slow Ready, No Jam, and then Salt. And this Salt is absolutely fantastic. Oh my God. Hot fire. I mean, as this song does so well. But what a way to close out the night. Very surprised to see Salt come back again so soon, especially because they had Hot Tea on the written set list for this encore. So I'm very surprised they didn't play that. But I'm not complaining about getting Salt instead of tea.
Yeah. Hey, we always look for adjectives to describe things. I'm stealing the heck out of this one. Zesty Salt, for sure. There's quite a bit going on there. It's not just, well, I'm going to pause for a second and say this. It is cool that Salt came back so fast because I honestly believe it is one of their best songs for this slot period. It's fire. It's always fire. It's never not. It's never boring or lame or any of that stuff. And this particular version is nuts. It's got like a dissonant section. It's fast. It does all the things you want to do in an encore. And of course, Hot Tea gets you up and moving and dancing too, but you already just did that in Cinderman. So this is actually a little bit more depth to your dance party with this Salt. And I love that. Really, really cool. This can be, and I would not complain, and I think most people wouldn't complain, in every third or fourth show number in the way that Hot Tea has been in the past. Where it's like Saturday night, like what are they going to do? Saturday night, second night of a 2-night run?
Hot Tea, yeah.
Hot Tea? They're like, how about Salt instead? Always. Given that choice, I'm choosing Salt every time.
There we go.
Yeah.
Isaac, your thoughts on the encore?
Yeah, the Salt is just incredible. It just rips. It's 10 minutes of straight ripping. It's got it's got some great improv in like the dark section too. And it sends you home well. And I love the Salt in the encore. Because it always, I think every show you go to and you end with a Salt, it always gets you pumped. It always like keeps that energy moving for a little. And this is perfect for a night one where you have another show the day after. People are going to be amped because they played that. I think Salt was originally in third spot of the second set. So I'm interested to see like in the future if they eventually kind of make Salt almost like a jam vehicle, and if there's like a big version kind of like
we need it.
Salt Lake, because that would be awesome. And they clearly can jam Salt well, as we saw today.
That's right.
We do need that big Salt. Well, that wraps up Louisville night one for us here today. We're heading back 4 hours until showtime for night two here. Got a cool disco after party happening tonight a few doors down if you're in town. That's going to be fun. And then we're heading down to Atlanta, which the weather's looking a little dicey for Atlanta and Charlotte this weekend. And we've got Penelope Road opening, which we'll obviously talk about more very soon. It's going to be an interesting couple of shows. So tonight is, again, smallest remaining show on this tour, last indoor show of this tour. So it's going to be big. So let's see what happens. All right. Isaac, always a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us today. See you at the show.
Yes.
And everybody, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Always Almost There Day After Show Live. We will see you tomorrow to talk about tonight's show. Thank you so much. Peace.